First speaker tonight doesn't really need an introduction to society members. It's Keith Parfitt, Canterbury Archaeological Trust, who's been digging in and around Dover for donkey's years, and he's going to tell us what he's been up to more recently. Keith Parfitt.
Okay, good evening everyone. Brian Phil back in the 70s and the 80s under York Street, and we've got the famous painted house in New Street. Tonight I wanted to travel just down the road a little bit to Folkestone and just tell you a little bit about some of the stuff they've got at Folkestone, which is not the same as the Roman remains they've got in Dover, but no less interesting for that. So there's a map of Roman Kent, Canterbury here. As today, Canterbury was the centre really for East Kent in Roman times. And we're going to travel from Dover, town and port, garrison town, in the Roman period. We're going to make our way down the Roman road, which is now lost, that ran between Dover and Lynn, and stop off about halfway at Folkestone. That's by way of an introduction to the work that we've been doing at Folkestone Roman Villa, mostly in 2010 to 11, but we resume again next year, I think, with another fairly major piece of work. The work I'm going to tell you about tonight was undertaken as part of a heritage lottery project, joint project between Canterbury Archaeological Trust, Christchurch University at Canterbury, and the Folkestone People's History Centre, all with a large heritage lottery grant to look at Folkestone, a town unearthed. You may have come across our new booklet on the subject. We're going to talk about, just tonight, about the excavations at the Roman Villa site, which are up on the Warren on the East Cliff, overlooking East Weir Bay. I expect most of you will know the area more or less. So there's a view of the site. There's Dover Harbour there, just for reference. So we come across the downs, down Dover or Folkestone Hill, depending whether you're a Folkestone or Dover resident. And there's the site just there. So Copt Point here, the green sand headland where the green sand ridge hits the sea, the chalk downs of the North Downs here, and this big sweeping bay, East Weir Bay, formed where the sea has eaten into these softer clay rocks between the green sand and the chalk. Big sweeping bay, and a Roman villa set just on top of the cliffs there. Some of you may have got to see the excavations when we were there. The story starts in about 1919, when the local museum curator was told about and went to investigate some Roman walls that were apparently falling out of the cliff up on these cliffs. By 1924, he passed on, I think, and the project had sort of stalled, nothing much was going on. But in 1924, Folkestone Borough Council, as it was then, engaged the services of one Samuel Winbolt, this gentleman here, with his daughter and a couple of his mates, to lead a team to excavate these remains and just see what they actually were. Now there was a sort of two-pronged reason for this as far as the council were concerned. Firstly, there was a lot of unemployment in the town, and excavating a major archaeological site provided employment for quite a few of the unemployed men in the town. I think he had about a dozen or so, and there they are. You can see quite clearly the distinction between chaps in flat caps here at the work and the supervisory staff, as it were. Now, in those days, of course, Folkestone was quite an important seaside resort, so the council were very keen to get people to come to Folkestone, and here was another thing that could draw the crowds to look at the archaeological excavations on the outskirts of town. So there's Winbolt and his team. In the space of about 12 weeks or so, he laid bare the outlines of a massive, great Roman building complex, and there are a couple of shots of it there and there, another one there. So he's got underfloor heating systems, he's got mosaics, he's got walls. Hasn't got the vertical height of walls that we've got in Dover, but he's got the extent of it more. Of course, he's not cluttered like we are in Dover, where we've got to work around the modern town. Here he's got an open area of grassland and he can do pretty much what he likes. all the time the digging was going on, and after the digging had finished, all sorts of people coming up from the town on their holidays to come and look at the excavations. There we are, a little group there getting a tour, I think, various people there. You see they're standing all over the Roman walls, and he says in his report here, Roman folks, it used to annoy him intensely with people standing all over his Roman walls, not keeping the footpaths provided. For its day, it wasn't a bad dig. We would have done it differently, we reckon better today, but it wasn't bad for its day. Wimbold, at the end of this project, pulled it all together and produced a book called Roman Folkestone.